Hello, and welcome to Semantic Love, the BL podcast where each episode we watch and review a BL series or movie. This episode, we checked out the YouTube series Choco Milkshake. I'm your host, Siren Bella, idol trainee and illegitimate prince of hell, singer, dancer, and disappointment to my father. This episode, I'm joined by my wonderful friend, Pavy Fire. Hi, Pavy.
Hi.
welcome. Literally in my notes, I've got chat with Pavy. So how are you? Introduce
Yeah.
yourself a wee bit for the audience if you can, or if you want
Um,
to.
okay. Well, hi everyone. I'm Pavy. I'm a non-binary content creator. I do kind of all sorts, I suppose. I do a little bit of writing, a little bit of art, a little bit of streaming. I'm a bit all over the place. So I think that kind of sets up how I am.
Yeah, that was a good introduction. So I have like a disclaimer before we start talking about everything.
Mhm.
Obviously, these opinions are personal opinions. They might not match up with everybody else's, but it's how we feel about it. And
Yeah,
if we're mean towards a character, it's towards the character, not the actor, because we're not going to be like that kind of person. We don't hate on
definitely. It's
actors here.
towards the character more than the actors. The actors,
Yes.
brilliant.
And also, this is your spoiler alert because we will be talking about the plot, the ending, and all of that stuff. So, if you don't want spoilers, you came to the wrong place. So, I've got the synopsis of the series, but I didn't do this on the last episode, and I meant to. But I read this before I started, and I already have a fight to start with the synopsis. So I'll just read it out. A cat and a dog cross the Rainbow Bridge and return to the terrestrial world in human form. Jungwoo lives alone. When he was 20, a fatal accident robbed him of all he loved, not just his parents, but even his pet dog and cat, Choco and Milk, whom he had raised since childhood. So here's my fight with this. It says that he was 20 when this accident happened,
Yeah.
but to me, in the flashbacks that we get in the series, he looks like he's in high school. He doesn't look like he's
Yeah.
20 because he's wearing a
Yeah,
uniform, I'm pretty sure.
that's something that wasn't a major issue for me, mostly because I hadn't read the synopsis before I went in to
Mm.
watch the show last year. Um, but I thought he was about high school age
Yeah.
when he chocolate milk. And then they say in the show that we were together for 10 years for chocolate and then 11 years for milk.
Mm.
So I thought he was like mid-20s
Yeah.
by this point, but apparently not.
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing sometimes. I think I found that
Yeah.
overall some of the plot and bits I found it confusing in this.
Mm.
Okay, where did I get to? One evening after returning home from work in his uncle's cafe, he is disturbed by two handsome strangers knocking at his door. First of all, who is disturbed by that? I mean, let's be honest. I would
I
not
wouldn't
be.
be.
To his disbelief, they claim to be Choco and Milk. They can prove it, however, and after hearing their memories of earlier times together, Jungwoo realizes that he has indeed been visited by the two beloved companions of his youth, reincarnated in human form. Choco and Milk settle themselves comfortably into Jungwoo's home, and the three once more enjoy the warmth and affection that they have longed for since their cruel separation. But there are new dimensions to their resumed life. Oh, yeah, it does say that. And surprising discoveries to be made in the realms of friendship and love. So
That is
I've
certainly
got
a way of phrasing it.
yeah, I've got a note somewhere because I didn't read the synopsis before watching it,
Hmm.
and in my episode 2 notes it says I questioned were the pets dead before because they mentioned about crossing a rainbow road. So I would say a rainbow road. That's the wrong thing. Rainbow bridge.
Yeah.
Um, so obviously the synopsis tells you that they were,
Yeah.
but I
I
went
think
into
it's
this
touched
not
on in
realizing.
episode 3 that
Yeah.
that they died, but
Hmm.
I think that's the first actual mention
Yeah.
of what happened. And it's just like a bit out of place.
I literally have that
And
question, and then at the start of the next episode, I'm like, oh, that answers that. Never
yeah,
mind.
My gripe with it, which is getting into a little bit of that episode in particular, is why were they saying it in front of Uncle?
Oh
That's
yeah, well,
my
I
only
think they
thing.
were
Why?
drunk, were they not?
Jungwoo
In
was
that
drunk.
scene.
Choco and Milk were fairly sober, I think. And
Yeah.
then Uncle was just kind of there, and it's just like,
Yeah.
why are you saying about this?
It was a bit confusing for her uncle, yeah.
Yeah.
So before we get into the episodes, I want to talk about each of our leads a little bit first. Each of
Hmm.
our characters. So our main lead, I guess you would say, is Jongwoo.
Yeah.
Um, for a main character, main lead, I didn't connect with his character very much, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Um, I, he was the only character that felt a little bit flat to me, especially in the early
Hmm.
episodes.
Yeah.
I just felt that there wasn't a lot of depth to his character. Like, we know of certain events in his life,
Hmm.
um, but I just didn't connect with him as much as I did
Yeah.
with the others.
Yeah. I think through the series, it's a running theme that there could have been more depth to each character. I think I have that in
Yeah.
a lot of my notes that there needed to be a bit more depth. That was not my phone. I will silence it. Forgot to do that before we started. But yeah,
Yeah, I
that's what I've
think
got my
that's
notes.
a big thing because it's quite a
Mm-hmm.
short series. It's like 2 hours or just over 2 hours total.
Yeah.
Um, so I think there could have been a lot fleshed out if they had extended the
Mm-hmm.
um the series.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, I
I
agree with
think
that.
with Choco and Milk, obviously our two other leads,
Mm-hmm.
um, they they felt quite, or at least fairly fleshed out to me.
Yeah, I
Or
think I
maybe
agree
I'm
with that
just
as well.
biased because I really like them.
So yeah, his age was confusing to me because
Hmm.
I would have said he was in his early mid 20s throughout this
Yeah.
story. So in the flashbacks with Choco and Milk, that confused me even more.
Yeah.
There's a
Time
lot of
seems
the
very
timeline I
fluid.
don't get. Yeah, the timeline I don't get quite that much.
No,
Um,
I don't understand the timeline either, but
mm.
yeah.
So this series to me kind of has the BL trope of like the loser and the hot guy, the hot popular guy getting together. It kind of gives me that feel,
Yeah, I
which
think I
is
kind of
actually
see
one of
that.
my least favorite BL tropes. So I wasn't a huge fan of that aspect of it, but because it's not actually that, it's not as bad to me.
Yeah.
So the actor is Ho Jung. This will be also, yeah, I butcher names completely and utterly.
That's
So
fine. I also, but I try my best, but
I tried
I
to find
can't.
some stuff about them, like just like fun facts. I think he was the
Mm.
only one I could find things about. um,
Yeah, no, the other two I think are quite small in that regard.
I think all four of them are actually rookie actors. They're quite new in the field,
Mm.
which I quite like. But it's also a very big risk for the production company or whatever to hire four rookies. That was quite interesting. But
Yeah, I agree with
this
that.
guy, he was a former bodybuilder, which I find really
What?
interesting. Yeah. He doesn't strike you as someone who'd be into bodybuilding, does he?
No.
Yeah, I just find that really interesting. He was also an idol as well. And
Okay.
I think a
Sorry, that's
couple
really
of different
thrown
groups.
me.
No.
I didn't know that.
When I read that, I was like, wait, what? That doesn't make much sense
Wait
to
a
me.
minute.
He's also 29, and he does not look 29.
He does not look
No,
29.
he looks like a bit younger. That surprised me quite a bit. That's all I got for him. So, Choco, I enjoyed his characterization more than Jungwoo.
Yeah,
Um,
you can
although,
really like sort of feel with the mannerisms that he's very. I don't say this in a derogatory manner, of course. It's literally because he is literally playing a human that was once a dog.
yeah,
He is very dog-like in his mannerisms.
yeah. Yeah, I think, although to me, I think it was his dog characterization was a bit one note to me.
Mm.
It was a lot of the golden retriever kind of vibe.
Yeah, there was a lot of golden retriever energy
Yeah.
there when he's meant to be a Maltese. It's
Yeah.
like, um,
I
are
don't know
we
what
are
that
we
kind of dog's
confusing
like,
breeds
so
here?
maybe they are very golden retriever like. I don't know.
Possibly. I'm not overly a dog person,
Mm,
but I know that Maltese dogs are quite small,
yeah,
especially when
and he's
compared to
huge.
golden retrievers, and he's
Yeah,
like the biggest out of the three of them.
yeah. But I still think he did a good job with the dog
Yeah,
human persona, the characterization. Uh,
definitely.
so his actor is Jabin. Uh, he's
Yeah,
actually enrolled
Jabin
in
Lee.
university right now
Oh wow,
for acting. Yeah,
that's brilliant.
and this made me laugh a lot. He's a certified Pilates instructor.
He's a certified Pilates instructor.
Yeah,
That
it was just I don't know why
I'm
that
not
got
laughing at
me.
that specifically, but like,
It was just such a
so
random
Jungwoo is a
fact.
bodybuilder, Choco is a certified Pilates instructor.
Yeah. It was just that was all it said on his description of on Dramalist, which is what I'm using for. It's like IMDb, but for these
Okay, yeah,
dramas. That's all it says is a university, and he's a Pilates instructor.
brilliant.
I thought that was very interesting. The two pieces of information that they gave,
Get all of your bases covered with that.
the important points. Yeah. So milk. This is such a hard one to do because I'm trying not to be biased.
Yep,
But Milk is 100% my favorite character in this.
I am with you on that one. From the first
Really?
episode, I was like,
Oh,
Milk is my favorite.
I thought you would say Choco was your favorite.
Surprisingly, no. Like
But
I thought, oh yeah, I like the guy who's like a dog.
mm,
No, I go for the cat man.
yeah. So I think he had the best characterization. He did
Mm.
playing a human cat very well,
Oh
which I've got
yes.
notes on that like throughout that he's a cat.
As a cat owner,
Yeah,
who owns five
exactly.
cats, sees the whole spectrum of cat behavior. It
Yeah.
did really well.
I think he also has the most depth out of the four main
Yes,
characters
you can actually
as
see his
well.
character evolve through the series,
Yes.
which you don't get as much as with Choco and Jungwoo.
Hmm. I also just wrote, damn it, he is beautiful in my notes. He is 100% my type, and I'm trying not to be biased, but he's so beautiful, and it's hard.
Yep.
He's got very angular face, which I love.
Mm.
It's very beautiful. So this
Yes.
actor, he's only 23. He's the, I think yeah, he's the youngest
What?
of the four. He's just a baby.
He's a baby.
Yeah, I think he looks quite young. Certain points in the series, I think he looks quite young.
Yeah.
Um, he is a rookie actor. I think this is his first role. I want to say.
Wow.
But I think he has huge potential. I think he's a very good actor, and I think he has huge potential to go on and do some really good
Oh
roles.
yeah, definitely.
Speaking of which, he is the lead in a new BL series called something. I didn't write it down. Hold on. It is called Happy Ending,
Oh, okay.
which airs on Thursday, the 25th,
On the-
for us recording, which I'm excited to because
Don't
lead
mind me, I'm
role.
just noting that down.
Yeah, he's the lead role. It doesn't say how many episodes it has, but it's the same Strongberry, the same company. But I'm excited
Oh,
for that.
lovely.
I'm gonna watch that because I love him.
Yep. Tune in just for him.
Yeah. And our final lead character is Uncle, which I find funny that he doesn't have to
Yep.
have a name.
He doesn't have a name,
He's
he's
just
just
called
Uncle.
Uncle.
Or he's referred to as Boss a couple of times, I think, towards the end of the
Hmm.
series, but the main name used for him is Uncle.
Yeah.
which is
Uh,
odd saying it now, but it makes sense in
yeah,
context.
yeah. This character, what I've got written down here is I know nothing about him besides he owns a cafe and he's Jungwoo's uncle.
Yeah,
That's,
that's
I
pretty much
don't
it, I
think this
think.
poor guy got a lot of depth.
No, he really got the short end of the stick on that front.
Yeah. Um, that's all I have written about him.
Yeah, I
um,
think I noted somewhere that Uncle seems out of place.
yeah.
But that's just me. It just
Uh,
it's
his
really janky to me.
actor, he's 30 years old, the actor that does this. So he's only 1 year older than the actor who plays his nephew. Um, which
Okay.
I think I think the relationship between Jungwoo and Uncle was weird because they don't look age wise an uncle and nephew.
Yeah, I
I
think
know
that was
that,
something that caught me off guard the first time I watched it. Like, this man
yeah.
is meant to be his uncle?
Yeah.
How?
I know it could be like a younger brother to
Hmm.
Jungwoo's mum, so it could be, but still, I don't think there's much of an age gap there. It's strange.
No, it's a bit
It's also
odd.
to be the older figure in the group. He doesn't really fit it that well because he doesn't look old, and I wouldn't say
No,
he acts like the older one either. He's got a lot of
no,
youthfulness about the character.
no. I think there's
But
a lot of times that he suggests drinking,
yeah,
which obviously I'm not saying isn't like enjoyed by older people, but in this
yeah.
context, it just feels like a very yeah,
Yeah, it feels like Jungwoo that he has no friends.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a bit sad sometimes. So
a little
yeah,
bit.
they're all pretty new actors. Uh, so everyone should go support them online. I'll
Oh,
put their
definitely.
links to their Instagram and all the social medias in where I can because I totally don't follow them. Maybe some certain ones.
Maybe.
Also, maybe it's some certain ones that aren't part of the main cast that I kind of fell in love with a little bit. We'll get to. Right, let's find episode one of my notes. Right. Okay, so the first thing I wrote about episode one was that the intro is only 30 seconds long, which I really
Hmm.
loved. And it fits that this is only like a 12 to 15-minute episode thing. So having a
Yeah.
really short intro, I love it. It's so good. Because you get ones
Yes.
that are like 2 minutes long plus, and I'm like, oh my god, this is going on a long time. And if they
Yeah,
did
no, the
this
intro is
for
quite short.
these kind of episodes, if they did like a 2 minute intro, that would have been really bad.
Yeah, that would have been insanely frustrating, I think.
Yeah, but and it's done really well. The song, no wait, I'm trying to remember. I don't remember what song they used for the intro, but there's two songs on the OST that are sung
Hmm.
by the three youngest of the main cast,
Okay.
and it's I think it's the ending song, and I don't know what the other one is.
Possibly.
I can't remember if it's the intro one. They might be the same song. I can't remember. And we
The
just watched it.
the intro song is quite it doesn't have any like lyrics or anything. It's quite bubbly and quite cheery.
Yeah.
Um whereas the song that plays over like the stills of bits within the episode is
Hmm.
a little bit slower than that. And I
Yeah.
do not know how to describe it, but I think that might be the one that they
There's one that
sing.
is called La La La,
Yeah,
which
that'll be the one.
that's the whole song is literally just the three of them going La La La. It's really
Yeah,
strange. But it works because
it's that
obviously
one.
one of them was an idol. So I get that.
Yeah.
And I like it when they have like the cast sing songs and stuff. I think it's
Hmm.
more popular in anime than these kind of things. But
Yeah.
I really like that aspect of it. My first note for this episode was that Jungwoo looks better without the glasses, in my personal opinion. Which I don't know why that
That
was
is
my first
fair
note.
enough. That is fair enough.
I just I I think in these types of dramas, you see a lot of the time with guys with their hair up and in suits and all dressed up kind of thing. Most
Yeah,
of the time, so I like it whenever they peel that back and they have the hair down and they're in casual clothes. I find that more attractive.
that is understandable. I don't particularly feel either way about Jungwoo. I think because I didn't form any kind of connection with him throughout the series, I don't
Yeah.
feel any particular way for him.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, he's all right looking. I'll give, I'm not denying that. He's just not
Yeah,
my
they're
kind of
all
guy.
very beautiful. They're a very
They are
beautiful
all very
cast.
beautiful.
They did some good work on that one. I've got the note that in one of the scenes there is a giant pink rotary phone, which just
I
caught my
did not
attention.
catch that.
It's quite near the
My my
start.
my first notes about the opening shots is about the pictures that he keeps on the door. It's either the door or
Oh
the
yeah.
fridge that
Mm-hmm.
it establishes the pre-existence of Choco and Milk when they were actually a cat and a dog.
Oh yeah.
So kind of sort of subtly, well, not
I don't
really
think I
subtly,
noticed
but
that until a while later on.
certainly like putting in that yes, these are actually Jungwoo's old
Hmm.
pets.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I noticed that until like a few episodes later.
Yeah,
I guess on the
it's
bathroom
very
door.
brief shot, I think,
Hmm.
but it's
It's
just
on the
something
bathroom door, I
that got
think, when
me.
you see them.
Yeah, I think it might be the bathroom door.
Mm. There's a good scene in this one where Choco is following Jungwoo around the apartment and bothering him, and
Yes.
then uh, Milk tells him to stop it, and then he sees the cords of his trousers dangling and goes into full
Yes.
cat form and pulls his
Yes.
trousers down.
Oh, I was absolutely wetting myself the first time I watched that.
Yeah, it's a really well done scene. It gives
Yeah.
really good characterization of a dog and a cat, and I love it.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I'd noticed about the particular shot when John was coming out of the bathroom with or his bedroom or whichever room it
Mm,
is, with those I think they're joggers, aren't they?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and Milk sees them is the way the camera zooms in on his eyes and has framed his eyes. They look like cat's eyes, and that's
Yeah,
something I really liked.
yeah. It's a really well done scene. That's good for their
Mm,
characterization. And I like Jungwoo's reaction after he gets his pants pulled down, where he's just like used to it and done with it.
yep,
And that was quite good. And also, then Milk's not paying attention because he's playing with the cords, and
yep.
Choco looks and is very shocked.
He's the expression on Choco's face is just pure gold, and I think that made me
Yeah.
start choking the first time I watched it. I just loved it.
Do you have any more notes for episode one?
Um,
That's
I
me done with
think
mine.
I've got a few, but I don't know. Hold
Yeah, yeah. Just
on.
go for it.
So when Jungwoo first rounds the corner back to
Hmm.
his apartment or his flat or whichever word you'd like to call it,
Oh yeah.
um, and he sees Choco and Milk,
Hmm.
Choco immediately stands up as soon as he sees Jungwoo,
Yeah.
whereas Milk gets up a lot slower, and I think that's quite subtle in the way that they do it, but it's another way that they're trying to establish the way that Choco and Milk see Jungwoo in slightly different lights. Like
Mm.
to Choco, Jungwoo is everything, as we'll see later in the series.
Yeah.
But with Milk, I think he does say this actually. Jungwoo is his chosen butler.
Yeah. Yeah. Very. Yeah. I remember that.
So that's just a little thing that I really liked. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
I think.
that's about it.
Mhm. There's a lot of good points. I think in episode one that it's little subtle things, and the one I can think of is when the three of them are lying in bed. Um, Jungwoo rolls over and turns to face Choco.
Mm,
There's a lot of things like that where he chooses Choco or looks at
yeah,
Choco in a certain way, and I think it's a lot in episode one which is kind of giving you a little premonition of what's happening. I like
Yeah.
that a bit. So I can't remember how episode 2 starts. My first thing on episode 2 that I've written is they're in the cafe, the four of them, and Uncle
Hmm.
brings over the food, the waffles.
Yep.
I love the acting in this scene, especially from Milk when he's really
Yes.
standoffish and glaring at him. I like that. And then he leaves, and then he starts eating the waffles.
Yep.
That was really good.
I've got Milk bristling because there's someone he doesn't know sitting next to him,
Yeah.
and then in brackets, me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I vibe with that as well.
Yeah, it's brilliantly done.
We also get a great scene where Choco licks Jungwoo's face.
Yes.
That was spicy. I like that.
So it's you can kind of see it happening, and you're like, are they really gonna do that? And then it
Hmm.
happens, and you're like, oh my god. And Jungwoo's
That's
face in that moment as well.
mm,
Loved
it's
it.
quite a good
He's so shocked.
BL trope, that the cream or whatever on your face. And normally they wipe
Yeah.
off with a thumb, not with your own tongue, but it works. It
Not
works.
Choco.
No. So then I question where the pet's dead or alive, which we've already answered that.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I jumped to the end of the episode where Jungwoo's going to bed, and oh no, he's drunk. Oh yeah, he's drunk. And
Yeah.
they dump him in the bed, and Milk goes to wash up first, and then he's having like a drunk conversation with Choco. I
Yeah.
think this is where you start to see that relationship forming, and you see the
Yeah.
disconnect with Milk when he's outside listening to it. I like
Yeah.
that little scene.
It's a cute little scene.
But
And it also, oops, sorry,
no, on you go.
I was just gonna say that this is the first sort of little bit we see about how utterly devastating this is gonna get.
I so my main issue with this series is
Mm.
that I really, really wanted this to be a throuple situation.
Yes, so did I. That's what I
And
thought
this
was gonna
was,
happen.
yes, this scene changed that for me, and I was like, oh no, it's not gonna do that.
Yeah. I was
I
like,
was
oh
really
my God, they're all gonna
disappointed.
be so cute together. And then it started,
Yeah.
like, Milk started to get like sectioned off from Choco and
Mm-hmm.
Jungwoo, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yes. I'm glad someone feels the same way, because I was really excited and I was like, oh, is this going to be like the first thruple BL I've seen? And I was like, no, no, it's not.
Yes. And it's the disappointment that flooded through my veins that day.
Yeah. I think I have written somewhere else. So, yeah, I've gotten written in capitals in episode 5. Why wasn't this a thruple? And I think they could have cut out Uncle's character or not had him be part of the relationship and
Yeah.
used that to flesh out the other three characters more.
Yeah,
I
no,
think I would
I
have liked
totally
that
agree with
better.
that. Why Uncle is, don't get me wrong, Uncle is cool and his actor is brilliant, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but I just don't know why his character exists.
Yeah.
To me, it would make more sense just to have Jungwoo, Choco, and Milk.
Yeah. I agree.
Just, yeah, it doesn't. Uncle just seems like entirely out of left field for me.
Yeah, it feels like a last minute decision
Yeah,
that it probably wasn't, but that's how it comes across.
yeah, that's how it feels.
Yeah. That's all my episode 2 notes. Have you got anything else?
Um, I've got a note that the food looks fucking delicious. That is my actual words.
That's very
Sad
true.
that it's A on the screen and B contains cream. Um,
Yeah.
I think the way when they're talking about how Jungwoo was calling for Choco and Milk,
Mm-hmm.
um, when they're talking when Jungwoo's drunk,
Yeah.
the way Choco downplays the journey a bit for Jungwoo is quite cute, but also it gives you the perspective of again how much Jungwoo means to Choco.
Yeah.
but then I've got in capitals afterwards. But why are you saying it in front of Uncle? Because again, why would you say that in front of a complete stranger?
Yeah. Something about the journey, and because we find out, I think at the end of episode 3, that
Mm,
Choco and Milk are talking about that they have to leave at some point.
yeah.
So something that confuses me that throughout the whole thing, there's no timeline for how long they have to be there. I think
No, there's
at
only
some point
mention at
Milk
the
says it.
end.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah, it's
like,
towards the end.
that confuses me. I think I've written in my notes somewhere what are the rules
Yeah.
of this. I was like, the journey to get back to them, back to Jungwoo, I didn't understand. The time frame, I didn't understand. There was a lot of
No.
bits about the
I
process I
think
didn't
the
understand.
Yeah, I think the most in-depth explanation we get is they have to cross the Rainbow Bridge and journey through
Mm,
heaven and hell. And it's
yeah.
like, okay, that's a brilliant semantics.
Yeah.
However, how does this work?
Need a bit more detail than that.
Just a little bit, please.
But yeah, that confused. That was a running theme throughout the series that confused me. I think
Yeah.
I've in my notes a few times that I'm a bit confused whenever they
Yeah,
mention
there's no
that kind of stuff.
real there's no markers throughout the main series to
Yeah.
show how long Choco and Milk are with Jungwoo
Hmm.
or how long they have with him or anything like that, which is a little bit confusing and frustrating.
Yeah. The other point of it is I didn't understand why they have to go back and what happens if they don't. That confused me, and I still don't
I,
understand what happens if they stayed. Do you?
um, they would quote unquote disappear.
Yeah.
That's all that's said.
But like they do
That if
that
they stay,
anyway.
they will disappear. It's like what?
Yeah, it's really confusing because they leave and they disappear from the world. I think maybe it means that they disappear from memory, from reality. I don't know. That was what I thought.
Potentially, maybe like
From like
their
ever
souls
existing.
just
Yeah.
evaporate.
Yeah, that's what my thoughts were, that they
That's
just ceased to
yeah, that's
exist or ever did.
yeah.
But it's also confusing um, how they got back. Like, can any pet just like walk out of heaven whenever they want?
I
Like,
have
who allowed
no
them to go?
idea.
And who's
Oh,
keeping track of how long they're there and all
is
that
there
stuff?
like a is there a man with a stopwatch?
Is it like a
Who
warden,
knows?
a parole officer?
Parole officer.
That was confusing to me.
Yeah, it's quite confusing and not entirely fleshed out. We get
Mm,
very minimal information
yeah.
through the whole series.
So episode 3 starts with the Jungwoo feeling guilty about Milk and Choco dying.
Hmm.
And this is the only point in the series that I cried because pets dying makes me sad, and that's why I wrote in my
Yeah,
notes.
that's fair enough. I cried quite a bit, especially towards the latter end of the series. Um, but yeah, it's it is quite crushing when you're suddenly hit with this
Hmm.
massive dose of reality from this
Yeah,
little fun and zany series. Just like, yeah,
and
have loads
that's
of
where we get the
guilt.
flashback of Jungwoo when he's supposed to be 20, and he looks like he's in uniform of high school, which confused me.
Yeah,
And that's the Choco flashback. And we don't get like a Milk flashback, which I was disappointed
no,
with.
we get like an allusion to
He
some
was
sort
sick.
of
Yeah,
sickness.
illness. Yeah.
Um, but besides that, we don't really get anything
Mm.
distinctive. Um,
Uh,
my
I've
note
got.
is Choco remembers dying. Just punch me in
Oh.
the face, it'll hurt less.
Oh man, yeah, that would be an awful thing to remember, though.
Yeah. For sure.
Oh, I've got this is like this is not just a note for this specific episode, it's for all ones prior, that I really love the interactions between Choco and Milk when it's just the two of them.
Yes.
And that's why I was like, oh, why can't this be a throuple? Because they
Yes,
have so much potential, the two of them,
they
as
do, and you
well.
can you get a really strong sense that yes, these two have known each other for a long time.
Yeah, you get a good bond from them, and I like
Yeah,
that a lot.
exactly. Darn it,
And then it's just,
Strongberry.
and then I just said they have to leave, which is the other part of that, which is when they're having the conversation while Jungwoo is supposed to be sleeping, I think,
Yeah.
and he overhears
Shouldn't
them.
we tell Jungwoo now? That one.
Yeah,
And
which
it's
I'm not
like,
surprised whenever
oh.
Milk's shouting that he wakes up. But yeah, that's all I have for episode 3. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Um,
I don't remember what else happened in this episode.
I've got a few things. There again, just like little bits of
Mm-hmm.
characterization and showing bonds and whatnot.
Yeah.
I've got one about the way Jungwoo holds Choco's face to get his attention, like how you might do when you're talking to a pet. Because
Yeah.
I don't know if you do this, but I with one of my cats, Hercules, I do get his face and I just gently hold it in mine when I talk to him. Um, so yeah, that I mean I know Choco's not a cat, but
Mm.
I can
Yes.
see the thought process behind that.
Yeah.
Um, and when Choco gets the cloth thrown at him when they're in the cafe, he catches it, whereas Milk was sort of
Yeah.
flinching away from it, a bit like Fetch.
Yeah. He looked really offended as well.
He looked so offended. But yeah, that's I think the most or most of the notes that I have from Ep 3 that we haven't already discussed.
Mhm. Episode 4, I don't actually have very many notes. Jungwoo gets sick in this episode out
Yes.
of nowhere, I
Out of
think.
nowhere.
It just happens. um,
You know what?
and
You have a fever now. Plot.
mhm. And so Milk goes to work for him, basically, and Choco
Yep.
says to look after him. My
Yeah.
note on this is, how did the dog learn to cook?
I do actually have an answer for this.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, where is it? Choco ate some of Jongwoo's mum's omurice, so he
Oh.
made it from memory.
Oh.
He doesn't know
Uh,
how to cook though, which is why the kitchen's a mess
mm.
afterwards, but
Oh,
he can
yeah, oh, yeah.
remember the taste of it. Um, yeah, that is my note.
Yeah, and then Jungwoo cries whenever he
Yeah.
tastes it because it must taste the same as his mum's, I guess.
Yeah,
Because he
I
remembers it.
think that's the reason because it's such a familiar taste for him, but he hasn't had it
Hmm.
in such a long time.
Yeah, because we see, I think before that, we see Uncle cook it for Milk, and he says
Yes.
it's not the same as one his sister made, which I
Yeah.
think this is actually when I realized that he is actually Jungwoo's uncle, and
Yeah, I
it's
think
not
this is
just
the first
the,
mention.
it's not just the, I think it's, I think in Korea they'd say like auntie and uncle to older people they're closer to. So I
Yeah.
thought it was just that kind of affection thing. It
Yeah,
wasn't
I think this
actually
is
his
the first
uncle.
sort of proper mention that
Hmm.
he is actually Jungwoo's
Yeah.
uncle.
And then, yeah, Uncle cooks or prepares lots of food for Milk to eat
Yeah.
uh, because apparently he's got good senses for eating, which was strange to me. Do cats have
Yeah.
good senses with eating? I don't know.
Yeah, they do.
No,
They
I
do
didn't know that.
actually. Um
Makes sense now.
our cats all eat a sort of different range of foods and they can be really quite fussy. So I think
Mm.
that's what they were trying to get at here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mine are not fussy. Mine eat anything that sits still long enough. So.
Fair enough. I mean, our ginger cats, they eat anything, but
Mm.
um, two of our others, Lucifer won't eat any human food, and he'll only eat biscuits. And Lola will eat cat meat, but she won't have the same flavor twice in a day. which is really annoying.
In a flashback where Jungwoo is with his mum, he says she makes the omu rice because he's not feeling well, and she says that he should have stayed home from school, and he says that he didn't want to because they wanted to get the perfect attendance award. Did
Yeah,
you have that at school? That perfect attendance award?
yeah, we had well, it was 100% attendance, but
Yeah.
we got it if it was 95 or above.
Oh.
So yeah, that was a thing. At least where I went to school, and I don't think anyone really cared about it.
Mm.
I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
I don't think anyone cared. You just kind of got it if you
Yeah,
got it, kind of thing, which I never did.
yeah, no one really cared if they got it or if they didn't get it.
Mhm.
It was just yeah.
I think one of my best friends, she got it like 3 years out of the six.
Yeah, I think I got it. The only year I didn't get it was the year I got chicken pox,
Oh.
which is a different story. Um, but yeah, I didn't particularly
I would have
care.
never been anywhere near it in any year at all. Uh, that's all I have for episode 4. Honestly, I didn't have very many notes.
Um, I've got one about when Milk was napping outside when he went to work.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
Milk needs his naps. Also,
Yes, I noticed
um,
that.
this is where he starts liking Uncle a bit more.
Mm.
Also, it shows that he can still sleep anywhere like cats can.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot with his napping and being tired. Very cat
Yeah,
like.
he naps everywhere. I love it.
Great characterization. Another way that it makes his character stronger.
Exactly.
They did such a good job in Milk's character.
Absolutely
I just
brilliant.
wish they'd done the rest that way.
Could have had so much more.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything else for episode 4?
I don't think so.
Okay. So episode 5, I think it's at the start of the episode. Jungwoo has a blind date.
Yep.
Uh, he gets a text from somebody. Do you know who that text is from?
I'm assuming, or I had always assumed that it was the date, but I honestly don't
Oh,
know. It's never really
yeah.
specified.
I thought it was Uncle
I don't
because
know.
I think it says thank you for going on the date instead of me or something. I can't remember what the text says. I'm pretty sure it says something like
Possibly.
that. So I thought it was from Uncle because let's be honest, he's the only other person that Jungwoo knows.
Yeah,
And
it
then I
could be.
find
I
it really
don't
weird
know.
because he's supposed to be his uncle. There's supposed to be an age gap.
Yeah,
Why is Jungwoo going on a blind date instead of his uncle? It was
I
confusing me.
couldn't. I couldn't tell you that.
Yeah.
Although if it
Although
is Uncle, that's sorry.
well, they're going to say that his blind date was still pretty handsome anyway. So
Yeah,
it was
his
fine.
date was handsome, but for some reason there was something off about him to me. I don't know if that's just
Mm,
me being me, but if it is Uncle messaging him like you were sort of
hmm.
suggesting, that would kind of make sense.
Yeah. That was my only
But I
thought
don't know.
because he's the only person Jungwoo knows.
Yeah,
But yeah, I just said blind dates are hard because it was
yeah.
so awkward.
It was so
Uh,
awkward.
the only bit that wasn't was when Jungwoo was talking about Choco and Milk,
Yeah,
which I can relate to because if someone asks me about pets, then I'm like, okay, this is my TED talk. I get
exactly.
that.
Exactly. I have like a one note about the blind date, and that's why
Mm.
does he want him to eat the bread so bad?
Oh, yeah, that was really
Like that was a
strange.
bit
It was a bit
off.
creepy.
Like why do you keep trying to give him the bread? Is there something
Yeah,
special about the bread, sir?
yeah, or something weird.
Yeah, it just felt like
Yeah, that creeped me out a little bit. Weird.
yeah.
Eat the bread.
Eat the bread. Have the bread. Um, okay.
But Choco follows Jungwoo on his blind date,
Yes.
and I've got this note the sweater jumper that Choco was wearing, it's very nice because it
Is
stretches over his shoulders and chest and becomes slightly
so
see-through.
nice.
And
Yes.
I was
I'm so
like,
glad I'm not the only one that noticed that.
very nice. It's a very good look on him.
Yes. It may also be me looking into this too much, but very briefly in Act 4, what is it, Act 4? Yeah, Act 4. Um, we get a little scene where Milk is teaching Choco how not to constantly stare at Jungwoo.
Oh yeah.
And then with this particular bit where he dodges out of view whenever Jungwoo turns to look,
Oh yeah.
um, it's like he's becoming a bit more Milk, and I think
Mm.
the jumper sort of sells that as well, but it also looks
Mm.
really nice on him.
One thing that confuses me, where does Choco and Milk get the clothes from?
I have no idea
Because I can see
because
Milk wearing Jungwoo's, they're similar
oh
size,
yeah,
body shape,
definitely.
but
But Choco?
yeah, that maybe that's why the sweater's stretched. Maybe it is Jungwoo's.
Possibly, yeah.
That would make sense. I said, oh yeah, I think in this episode is a bit when he gets back to the apartment with Choco, he gives
Mm,
Milk head pats.
yeah.
And then he gives Choco head pats, and this is where I've got in capitals why it wasn't this throuple because I
Yes.
loved that scene so much.
It's such a cute scene. Like,
Hmm.
one, I wish it was more, like there was more of this kind of scene.
Yeah.
Two, why weren't they a throuple?
It had great potential. It was right
Great
there.
potential. Such a missed opportunity.
But I think he has a little bit of a moment at the very end with Choco, a little bit
Mm,
more intimacy, which kind of
yeah.
helps develop their relationship a bit more. But I still wanted that throuple.
And such a good throuple.
That's all I've got for episode 5. Do you have anything more?
Um, I've got one line briefly about when the blind date rushes after Jungwoo and Choco
Yeah.
sort of pounces out to quote
Mm.
unquote save him. Um, I put the line, "You're raising a man," um,
Yeah.
which just made me giggle so much. Um, and we also see, I think, at the very end of this episode, how
Mm.
Choco would rather risk his very existence than leave Jungwoo again.
Mm.
Very much like a loyal dog.
Yeah. Yeah, he gives off a lot of those vibes of a very loyal dog.
Yeah, it's something that I think comes up a lot. Yeah,
Oh
that's all
wait.
I've got for Ep 5.
I've got in at the start of episode 6, it says that Jungwoo finds out that they can't stay. Was that
Yes.
this episode where I overhear some talking?
I
I think it was the end
um
of episode 5, maybe.
End of episode 5, but then I think it's recounted at the beginning of episode 6.
Ah, yeah. And maybe that's just what caught me off guard. But yeah, like, I think we mentioned it before, but this is where Jungwoo finds out that they can't stay. And
Yeah.
it's not really explained why, which is what we talked
No.
about.
It's never really explained in any detail.
Hmm. Uh, and then the bit that this scene really made me laugh. There's a bit where Milk is in the cafe, and Uncle gives him a glass of water, and he swats it.
Yes.
That made me laugh. I love that.
Just the immediate swatting of
Yeah,
the
get
glass
that
is
away from me.
brilliant.
I can't remember why he was in a bad mood though. I don't have that in my notes.
I can't
Oh, maybe it
remember.
was just the conversation that Choco doesn't want to leave. I think that might have been it.
Quite quite possibly, because I think the scene before was about Choco and Jungwoo.
Hmm.
Because I've got a note about the line, "I'm big, so I'm cuter, so love me more."
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, because he gets his head hurt.
yeah,
Yeah.
he gets hit in the head by something
Hmm.
when going to help Jungwoo.
Yeah.
Um, and then he has a little bit of a strop
Mhm.
afterwards.
Yeah. That's all I've got for episode 6. I don't remember what else happened.
I've got Uncle is a great wingman because I think it was Uncle's idea to send Choco into the
Oh
store
yeah,
cupboard
he
with
does that. Yeah.
Jungwoo. Um, we get a cute little animation sequence as well to show how Choco was found
Oh, of course.
in the
Yeah,
rain, which I
I like
found
that.
was quite sweet.
Yeah, it was very
And
surprising
it didn't,
actually, that animation just popping in.
yeah, and I think it
It
was
was
a
well
lot
done.
better than the flashback we got in one of the earlier episodes where
Yeah.
Jungwoo does not look like the age he's meant to be.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think that shows us the foundation of what their relationship has now sort of become.
hmm
Um, Choco also says, "I'd do anything for Jungwoo," which he says quite a bit, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and I've got a little side note saying, including giving up his existence, which I am,
Mm.
yeah, I think I also make note of a lot. Um, I think, not Milk. Uncle says I'm an old man at some point when talking to Milk,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what?
Yeah. It's like, sir, you do not look old.
You do not look old. What are you talking about? Like, he doesn't look old.
I do like,
I'm an old
yeah.
man. No, you're not.
I like the interactions between Uncle and Milk as they do get closer.
Yes.
It gives me a
Really.
little bit like older, younger brother, though, sometimes.
Yeah, I can kind of see what you mean by that.
I
I
get
think
that
that's
vibe
because
sometimes.
they're trying to make Uncle seem older,
Maybe, yeah.
even though he really does not look it.
Yeah.
I know we keep emphasizing that, but he really does not look it.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Um,
was. I think him being Jungwoo's uncle didn't add anything to the story.
no.
So it's strange they didn't give him a different backstory and role, one that
Yeah,
fits his age.
we could have had something so much better. I think the only thing we got out of Uncle being Jungwoo's uncle is like that line about the omurice,
Yeah.
saying how it would never be like his
Yeah.
sisters.
Even if he'd been
So
like his cousin or something, it would have
yeah,
made more sense.
it would have made a lot more sense, I think.
But yeah, I've got nothing else to add for episode 6. If you're finished.
We get left with another or maybe not another, but we get left with a cliffhanger of everyone looking at
Oh
a
yeah.
mysterious figure coming through the
hmm
door. That's I've got who is everyone looking at? Some guy and a load of question marks.
Yeah, like, and I will point out that it does not get answered in episode 7. Not really, because you don't meet him
No,
in
not
episode
really.
7. You
You
meet him
don't
in
meet
episode
him.
8. It's
Yeah,
weird.
you yeah, as does not get answered immediately, which is very dissatisfying to me.
Yeah.
Um,
At start of episode 7, you just see him. You see Choco look at Jungwoo and the mysterious figure walk away.
yeah, I swear
That's
the
it.
mysterious figure is partially blurred out.
It might be, yeah.
Like I'm convinced.
But then you do find out that it's his ex-boyfriend
Yeah, one of his
later on.
ex-boyfriends.
hmm Yeah, because Choco and Milk are at the swing set talking, and they say that he was the best ex-boyfriend he'd had or something.
Yeah, he was one of the nicest ones.
Yeah, and this is where, because I kind of, well, I hadn't given up on the idea of a throuple, but I thought
Mm.
another way this story could have gone is where Choco and Milk are like Jungwoo's guardian angels, and so they come back to
Ooh.
help make him happy and help him find a way that he'll be happy without them. That's where I kind of had this idea that they could have been that instead of a throuple.
Yeah. That could have been a good idea as well,
mm,
to be honest. It would have fit quite well with the not the backstory per se of
mm,
Choco and Milk, but how they came to be in this world again. That is really
yeah.
terribly phrased, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Reborn or whatever it is they
Yeah.
say. But I also liked it because Jungwoo saved both of them so that now they could have a chance to help and save Jungwoo, which I think would fit. That was just my little theory about episode 7, and honestly, that's all I wrote for episode 7. Because I can't remember what else happened in that one.
I've got a couple of things, mostly about how Choco and Milk are down bad. My own words in my notes. For Jungwoo and kind of uncle respectively. I've got one about Choco and Milk talking about Jungwoo's ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
Choco being upset because he loves Jungwoo, despite knowing that it would be better for Jungwoo to go
Yeah.
with this ex-boyfriend rather than stay with him because of his
Yeah.
limited time. Choco is also in love with the smell of Jungwoo. We get pointed out
Yeah.
to us. He's down bad. And then we get the "Ask Me, I Will Answer" scene where they have a dog
Oh.
walk past uh,
Yeah.
Jungwoo and Choco, and Jungwoo's like, "Oh, I always used to ask you that," and then Choco's like, "Yes, I can answer you now. Or how about I show you?" And then
Yeah.
kisses him.
Did they actually
And then we
kiss?
get,
I don't remember them kissing in
I
that.
think they did.
Oh, I didn't think they did. Because it
It's either
confused
this
me. Because
episode or the next one.
in the next episode, Choco tells Milk that they kissed, but I thought they didn't, so that confused me. Maybe they did. Maybe I blinked
I mean,
at that point.
I've got, and then it just goes right into the kiss. So they may have
Oh,
kissed, or they may have cut away at like the last second.
I must have blinked. Anything else for episode 7? Hello?
Sorry, my mum's just coming.
No.
Just bear with me 30 seconds.
That's okay, don't worry. They heard us talking about kissing. But that was a good scene.
Yes, that was a good scene. Sorry.
No, you're all right. Don't worry about it.
My last note is Milk is all over the place drunk and then wakes up with Uncle.
Oh
That is
my
literally
god, yeah, that was in this
episode then
episode.
cuts off.
Oh, I forgot that was that episode. I think I was just so because that scene where Milk is drunk, he looks so cute. I think I was
He
just too enamored
does.
to take notes.
He's just so cute. His little cheeks, I love.
I have to say the makeup they do in this series is really well done. They have really good
Yeah,
makeup
no, it is,
artists.
isn't it? It's brilliant.
You see Choco in one of the other ones that he's been drinking, and his like cheeks are red, and
Yeah,
looks really, really well done. So whoever the makeup artist was really on point for this.
I
But yeah, I really
absolutely
like that
100% agree.
where Milk was drunk, and then he wakes up next to Uncle.
Just suddenly wakes up with Uncle and then it just fades to
Yeah.
black.
Yeah. And then at the start of the next one, you see him very sheepishly trying to get into the apartment.
Yep.
And then Jungwoo and Choco are just sitting there.
Yeah, I've got Choco and Jungwoo are waiting like disappointed parents.
Yes. And Jungwoo says something like, "You went out drinking and didn't come home. Now you're a human," or something like that. Which I was like, "Oh yeah, I get that. Yep."
Yep.
And the flashback where Milker's reliving what happened when he kicks Uncle out of bed. I love that. Just that instant repulsion.
Yeah.
Just get away from me.
He physically, I think he kicks him about 3 times
Yeah.
in that scene. And it's like, oh my goodness.
Oh, I enjoyed that though.
It was very funny.
This episode is one where we learn a bit more about Jungwoo's ex, which I've just wrote in capital letters, the X, and a bunch of exclamation marks, because I am a little bit in love.
Yes.
I really liked his ex.
I liked his ex too.
So this whole, everything I've got written about in episode 8 is to do with the X. So the actor is Sung Ho. He is 32 years old and does not look that. I was really surprised at that.
He's 32?
Yeah.
What?
I wrote, he's 32. Bullshit. That's
yes!
a lie.
I'm calling on that as well.
his birthday is the 16th of July, which is the day before mine, which I quite liked.
Oh wow.
He plays the main role in a BL called Long Time No See, which is only like
Okay.
5 episodes long. And I think it's made by Strongberry, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think it might be. It doesn't. It does ring a bell.
Hmm. And then after, he's got a few lead roles and then a lot of supporting roles. But he's very interesting, and I would very much like to see him in another lead role.
Yes.
He's very beautiful. I also have a
Very,
note
very
here
nice to look at.
because I don't remember. I couldn't remember when Uncle's Junior shows up. That really short young guy. I don't remember what episode that he shows up
Oh
in.
yeah, no, I know the one you mean.
He's literally called Uncle's Junior. I don't think he has a name.
I think that's Ep 9.
Yeah, I can't remember. So I put it in here just because I was talking about the X.
Yeah.
But he's from a YouTube channel called Y Pictures, which is like
Oh,
a
okay.
reaction channel on YouTube. And that was quite interesting. So he's not really an
That is quite
actor,
interesting. No.
but he's just kind of this guest role. I liked him. It was, for the little bit you saw of him, he was cute.
Yeah, it was cute. Although his
Uh,
involvement with Uncle did confuse me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, again, it was a weird character to throw in there for not much
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah, I
um,
think it was just mainly to get a reaction from Milk.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's just a weird
Uh,
character just suddenly go, haha, here you go.
yeah. So yeah, episode 8, when they see Jungwoo goes on a date with his ex, I
Yeah.
think. That's that episode. Yeah, and then we fell in love with the ex. Um and the ex gives him pretty good advice about saying goodbye and stuff. And then asks Jungwoo for another chance whenever he's ready, which Jungwoo
Mm.
agrees to. And I thought that's how the series was going to end. Was they were going to get together, honestly, which
Yeah,
surprised
I
me when
think
they
there
did
was
not.
a red herring. I don't know
Oh.
if it was intentional or not, but I the way that they were talking with the quite open about their feelings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's how it was going to end as well, but then
Oh.
it didn't. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
was this for no reason?
Yeah. Again, it was like that. Another thing for no reason. But I don't have anything else about episode 8 because it was all the X for me. I don't remember what else
Yeah,
happened.
I think most of my notes were just about the conversation,
Mm-hmm.
about being open about their feelings, and that he's just a good guy in
Yeah.
general.
It made you. It was so well done.
Mm,
Just this introduction of this random character in one episode that makes you
yeah,
love him so much, and then he's just gone again. It was very strange,
very strange.
but I still
I wish I'd
enjoyed it.
seen more of him.
Yeah. Do you have anything else for episode 8? Or should we move on?
No, I think that's it for episode 8.
Okay. So, yeah, episode 9 is where Uncle's Junior gets introduced.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I put this as my favorite episode because it has two
Okay.
of my favorite scenes in it. The
Yeah.
first one is where Uncle's talking to his junior, and Milk brings over the iced coffee and slams them down on the
Just
table
slams it on the table,
and
yeah.
then leaves. I laughed so hard at that. It made me so happy.
It's so funny.
It was a great
His
one.
face throughout all of that as well. It's just like a face of like thunder.
Yeah, he's a really good actor for like his first
Really
role.
good.
He did a really great job. And then I think it's after the junior leaves, things get a little bit heated between Milk and Uncle. And
Yeah.
Choco and Jung were off to the side where they're supposed to be doing work, but they're just sitting at the
Yeah.
table watching this.
Yeah.
And
I've got a
Choco
line from
goes,
that.
I love this drama.
Yes.
Yes.
What is this level of development? I love this drama.
Yes. That was my second favorite scene from this. It was so good.
I loved it.
I like I like these scenes in this series just where it's lighthearted and more fun and kind of
Yeah,
gives you but also gives you more depth to the characters and their relationships. Because I think this scene
yeah.
does as well.
The
And
scene
it's just a
definitely
really
does
good one.
that,
Yeah, and
and then it throws you right back into the deep end again.
yeah. And then I've got another note about what happens if they stay. What is the time limit? I'm confused. Because I think
Yeah,
they talk about leaving again after this. I can't remember.
yeah.
But yeah,
They
must do.
talk. They're sitting in because Uncle goes off to meet with the junior.
Oh yeah.
Um, and they're all sort of sat there having this conversation. I think the only thing that gives this mysterious time limit any weight is Milk's behavior towards it,
Mm-hmm.
because we're not given like a specific time limit.
Yeah.
Choco is clearly going to disregard it,
Mm-hmm.
um, but Milk doesn't want to. I think that's the only thing, and his reaction to finding out that Choco doesn't want to leave
Yeah.
is the only thing that gives it any weight whatsoever.
Yeah. And yeah, Choco says he wants to stay, and then Jungwoo says okay
Yeah,
at first, which is weird. I think his feelings get the better of him when he says it's
I
okay for
think
him
his
to stay.
feelings get the better of him, and also he doesn't completely understand
Yeah. Well, if we don't, how
what
can
this
he?
entails. No, I don't think anyone
Yeah.
understands.
No. Except for Milk, apparently. He
Yeah,
knows what's happening.
Milk's the only one who knows.
Um, I don't think I have anything else for episode 9. Do you have anything else?
Um, I've got that Milk doesn't understand all of his own feelings upon
Oh,
hearing
yeah.
that Choco wants to stay, and that's kind of why he lashes out in the way
Hmm.
that he lashes out. And rightfully resents Choco for this sudden decision of staying,
Yeah.
rather than leaving. And he feels quite deceived by that. And I think that
Hmm.
Kim, or I think his name is Kim or Ju. I don't know. I've seen him referred to as both, but really, really sells it. Like,
Mm.
out of all of the parts, or all of the scenes throughout the series, I think this is possibly the most well acted out of all of them. It's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
He does. Yeah, he
Um,
does a really good job with the emotion scenes.
yeah,
I
he
like
does a
that a
really,
lot.
really good job. And we can kind of see that Jungwoo, I think this is like right at the very end, like you get the credits and then like a little scene afterwards.
Mm.
We can see that Jungwoo still feels quite responsible for Milk and Choco's deaths,
Oh,
and
yeah.
doesn't want to happen again. And this is when the whole sort of redemption arc, as it were, in Ep 10 then
Hmm.
kickstarts.
Yeah. So I think the very start of episode 10, Milk is leaving. I think that's how it starts.
Yeah,
And
I think so.
I think yeah, and you get like half an episode where it's all about Milk, I think.
Yeah, Milk just kind of relays his story and how
Mm.
he was found by Jungwoo, which I think was really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
There is a line it's kind of abridged because I was typing as the episode was playing, but I was used to being abandoned. He taught me what it means to love and be cared for. I liked it when Choco told me to come see Jungwoo,
Mm-hmm.
which is just like he's Milk isn't as aloof as we've been sort of shown to believe, like shown
Yeah.
or led to believe. And he does actually care about Jungwoo,
Mm-hmm.
just not in the same way that Choco does, which
Yeah.
I think
I
is
can't remember the
amazing.
line, but he says to Choco, Jungwoo was his whole world kind of thing, or
Yeah,
unconditional love, and that his love
yeah,
for Jungwoo wasn't unconditional kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Which again
Something
is
like
very
that,
cat
yeah.
like. And it fits his character really well.
Yeah, no, it really does.
And I wrote that it takes more strength to leave than to stay, is what I put in my notes. Because I just really
Yeah,
like
definitely.
I really like this part of the episode, where you get to see Milk on his own and having all that strength to leave, and I just really liked that part. It was a great part of the
Yeah,
episode.
I think
Um,
it was brilliant. And this is
mhm.
that was where I started crying. Um,
I didn't find the bit where Milk was leaving was sad. Actually, I
no,
don't
I
know.
just started crying, and then when Choco crying, and then it was just
Yeah, because
eternal tears.
we see like the last bit we see of Milk in this. Is he like in like a subway or like a
Yeah, he's
underground bridge? Where is he?
in like a tunnel, and you see a
Yeah.
car go past, and it's like, where are you going,
Yeah,
man?
and I was like, wait, how are you leaving this plane of existence again? Please, safety first. It was a bit scary, so it was.
Yeah, it's like it was a tunnel, obviously with a
Mm.
highway in it, and they were walking along the path, and it's like,
Yeah,
is the path to the other side through a tunnel?
it was
What?
confusing, but
Very confusing.
I think he smiles and then turns
He
around, and
smiles a lot,
that's it.
and it's really cute.
Yeah, he smiles a lot in this episode. I think
He
just
does, yeah.
yeah, I like that. Ugh, I love this fucking character. But after Milk leaves, it focuses on Choco and Jungwoo,
Yeah.
and I didn't find it sad. I don't know. I think there was just a disconnect for me with these two characters and their relationship. I'm not sure what it
Hmm.
was, but I just didn't feel about it the same way as maybe you're meant to.
Yeah, no, I don't think it came to me the same way that it was meant to, or the way it was
Hmm.
intended to. Um, it was quite heartfelt, but that wasn't the bit that
Yeah.
really made me sob. Um, but he what's my note say? Hearing how him disappearing would make Jungwoo's heart break more, that really breaks him, and you can see that on his face.
Hmm.
And I think that was quite well acted.
Yeah.
Because you can see that Choco doesn't want to cause Jungwoo that pain.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite sweet. And then I've got Saranghe in all caps and bold underneath that note. So I can't actually remember what happened at that bit.
Mm, I've got a note about they're having. I think it's after the credits. They're having
Mm,
conversation about being reborn,
yeah.
and they're asking what would you be reborn as. Uh, do you believe in reincarnation?
I do actually, yeah.
So do I. If you could be reborn, what would you want to be reborn as?
Ooh, that is the question. Um, I actually don't know. There are
It's a
so
hard
many
question.
options.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it would have to be a pig.
Very nice.
I love pigs. They're so cute.
A good option. I like that.
What about you?
Uh, Honestly, I think I'd have to say human again,
Yeah?
but like a completely different, like from somewhere
Completely
else in the
different.
world to experience life in a whole
Yeah.
different way, kind of thing. I think that'd be good.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Mm. That's all I've got. Episode 10. If you have anything else.
I have a lot for episode 10.
Oh yeah, of
Ep
course.
Episode 10 is the one that I wrote the most notes on, because my fingers just went, ah, yes.
Mm. No, go
Um,
for it.
so I think we mentioned earlier was the line where Milk's talking about his love for Jungwoo, and it's like wasn't
Hmm.
unconditional love like Choco, showing
Yeah.
that they're fundamentally different, and that
Hmm.
Milk is acknowledging that. Um, I also think that that shows part of his fear to trust people too quickly,
Hmm.
as like a trauma response. It's not really
Yeah, yeah.
touched on too much. I think it's only mentioned maybe twice. Um,
He does say that he
especially like
doesn't
towards
trust
the
easily.
yeah, it's because he was used to being abandoned.
Yeah.
I think it's literally only in Ep 9 and Ep 10 that it's really
Mm-hmm.
It may only just be at 10 that it's really touched on, but
Yeah.
I think that I mentioned it elsewhere in there. But yeah, it's a trauma response, and that kind of makes you feel like the relationship between him and Uncle was a little bit stronger because Milk had opened up and actually
Mm-hmm.
sort of let him in to some extent.
Yeah.
Um, I've got quite a long note here. I didn't care much for Uncle and Milk at first, like as in the couple, because I
Yeah.
thought the show was going to take a love triangle or throuple approach. But this is
Mm-hmm.
very satisfying as you see Milk learn to like and trust someone other than Jungwoo. We also know by this point that Milk doesn't love Jungwoo the same way that Choco does.
Yeah.
So that would also impede a relationship in that regard.
Yeah.
But I thought that was quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we've got the black screen detailing what Choco did when he got back to heaven. We don't get a
Oh,
scene
yeah.
like we do with Milk walking down the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it leaves the visuals of that particular moment up to the imagination,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I think, a lot better than actually showing us,
Yeah.
because that impacts us more than actually physically showing us, because it might not reach the emotional point that we can imagine ourselves, and that's the point where I started crying again. Because it was
I
left
liked
up
it
to
because
my own
it,
turbulent animation emotions.
yeah, it highlighted their relationship well again as well. Choco and
Yeah,
Milk's. I like that.
yeah. The way that Milk had to comfort Choco for a long time.
Yeah.
That just, oh, that got me. Um, there's also a greyish overlay on Jungwoo's apartment when he gets back. I
Oh.
think that shows how much light and
Mm-hmm.
brightness that the two brought into his life again.
Yeah.
Um, I have a note here, and it's kind of legible, kind of not, because I was spelling really bad. Was crying so much the cats had to come and see what was going on. Because there was the flashback again. So I came and got judged by my cats. And getting again to the scene where they're discussing what they'd like to be reborn as, we see
Mm-hmm.
that Milk says that he'd like to be reborn as a cat again, but he wants to
Yeah.
roam freely.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be abandoned or give someone the chance to abandon him again,
Yeah.
which I think was quite poignant. And
Mm-hmm.
then Choco says he doesn't care what he's reborn as long as it's by Jungwoo. And I've just
Yeah.
got two words, down bad, which I think
Yeah.
emphasizes their entire relationship.
That sums them up pretty well, yeah.
That's all I've got on 10.
Okay. And on to the final episode, episode 11, uh, which I don't have any good notes about. um,
Well,
I kind of tore this episode a new one.
okay.
So I think a lot of the first part of this, it focuses on Jungwoo,
Yeah.
and I've just wrote he's gone back to the way he was. That's the vibe I get from it. He's just the
Yeah.
same as he was at the start of episode one, which was kind of depressing to me because it was like all for nothing. Everything that happened in the
Yeah.
series, it's kind of pointless now. It really confused
I
me.
I kind of agree. If anything, he seems a little bit worse. Because there
Yeah.
are points where you're like you've got some shots in his like apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and there are things that have been taken out, and it's
Mm.
like you have arguably made your living space more drab. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And he says, "I'm being okay for them," and you're
Are
watching
you?
him, and it's like you are not okay.
Mm-hmm.
This you are not okay.
Yeah, that just kind of it rubbed me the wrong way because I
Yeah,
expected him to carry on being who he was when they were here. Maybe not as happy as when they were there,
yeah,
but he'd gotten so much from them. I expected them to change how he was day to day, and I also
yeah.
expected
You'd think they
the
have
ex to come
some
back.
impact,
Yeah, and then I
but
expected
no.
because he was this new new revived guy, that the ex would come back into his life because he was supposed to. That's what he said in episode
Yeah,
8.
that's what he said was going to happen. Did it
Yeah.
happen? No.
No, but also because Jungwoo hasn't given up on Choco. And I think, yeah, this episode is just like him being sad, and then
Yeah.
it skips 2 years. It says, because it gets
Yeah,
cold.
two winters
Yeah, and 2 winters
pass.
have passed. And I'm like, and then, yeah, and then Choco appears back again after about 2 years. And
Yeah.
I'm just, Jungwoo waited 2 years.
Why
I
would
don't,
you wait 2 years? There wasn't even a
yeah.
promise that they'd come back. What are you
But
doing?
so does Uncle, and it just makes me so confused. Like, why?
Yeah. I don't know.
I thought they were supposed to make you happy and give you a better life so that you could move on
Yeah,
and
and it
be happy,
arguably made it
but
worse.
yeah, it didn't really help. And yeah, this is where it says, what are the rules? Like, why did it take
Yeah.
them 2 years to come back? How did they get back?
And
It
then
was
this
a bit
time they're meant to
confusing.
stay for 100 days.
Yeah,
So does the time double every time they come back?
maybe. Maybe
That's
they got
yeah.
a different parole officer that was nicer. I
Different
don't know.
parole officer. I
But
don't
yeah, like
know, honestly.
2 years, neither of them moved on.
Yeah,
That
that seems a little
that
bit.
that made it even more
Yeah.
depressing to me. I
Why
just find
would you
this whole
not
episode
even
quite depressing.
try?
Yeah. And then
Also, Jungwoo hallucinates.
oh yeah, yeah, that was really
He
sad.
hallucinates that Milk is playing with loads of wool and that
Hmm.
Choco is about to give him a hot chocolate or
Yeah,
milk or whatever it is.
I think it's
Um,
chocolate milk. Yeah.
it's, that's not someone who's doing okay. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
real with you.
I think then I've only got one more note, but I think it's the very end. So do you have anything else
Hmm.
before that?
I've got one. I got a couple. So when I was first watching this, because I watched it when it was coming out, so it was on a
Hmm.
weekly release.
Oh yeah.
This particular Tuesday was the best day of my life that week. Because I thought Ep 10 was the end.
All right.
Um, I because there was no announcement for an episode 11.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was like, oh my God. And this is actually the first time that we get the happy theme, so like the bright and bubbly one, since I
Mm.
think Ep 6.
All right.
So that's quite a tonal shift as well.
Mm.
Um, I've got two notes. It's like Jungwoo seems to be doing okay. Um, and then the line under it is he is not doing okay. He is hallucinating. So yeah, get slapped with a dose of reality real
Mm.
quick. We've got Milk being a quote unquote a real gourmet. Um, yeah, that can be a cat thing.
Mm.
As I think we've previously mentioned.
Yeah.
It just depends on the cat, really. Um, Jungwoo still mourns. He goes to the swings
Oh
where we've
yeah.
seen them all talk a few times. So he hasn't moved on. I'd say at all. And
Yeah.
then we get the 2 year time skip, and Milk goes back to Uncle first, which I found very interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
Me too.
I'd also like to note that Milk and Uncle's kiss is the most replayed um section of that entire episode. Um,
Oh, I forgot you could look up that on YouTube and stuff.
yeah, it's literally it's a massive spike. It's so funny to me. Um, yeah, so Milk feels more or feels strongly for Uncle, obviously, as we see with
Hmm.
the kiss, very, very strongly,
Yeah.
um, than he does for Jungwoo, which is, yeah,
Hmm.
that is certainly something.
Yeah, he kisses
And
Uncle
I
and then
think,
immediately is like, "Don't
yeah,
touch me." I
yeah,
thought that was very cat-like. I
incredibly
choose
cat-like.
when you give me affection, sir. I like that.
um, And then I've got domestic Choco is adorable. He even goes to bite Jungwoo when they're playing.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a very subtle thing, but you can see him sort of like lurch his head forward and um
Hmm.
click his teeth together, which I thought was quite cute.
Yeah.
Um, and then the final line of my notes was, I too would be gobsmacked if I went to a restaurant to be served by four really hot guys.
Oh yeah.
That's that's all I've got.
uh, there's a bit when I think it's just after the time skip. You see Choco
Mm,
sitting on the swing, and then Jungwoo walks past, and he's not there, but the swing is moving,
yeah,
and then he
I
starts
don't
running to somewhere that apparently Choco is. I don't understand this bit.
I
Like,
don't
why does he
understand that
start
bit either.
running? Where are they
Um,
meeting?
I think they're meeting on the same corner that they first sort of appeared, like as in Choco and Milk first appeared on. But
Oh,
how would Jungwoo know to do that? How would he know how to
yeah.
go there?
Because he doesn't see
How?
Choco, he just starts running.
No, he just sees the swing moving, and it's like,
Hmm.
do you have some sort of
You smell him
premonition?
too?
Do you...
It's weird.
Exactly. It's like how can you derive that from a moving swing? Please teach me your
Yeah.
powers.
But my last line in the notes is Jungwoo says that Choco and Milk didn't come back for my happiness, they came back for their own. And I was like,
Mm,
sir, no. They came back to
no.
help you again. That's just a
Came back to help
lie.
you, part two, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That was all I'd written for that. So yeah, that's the end of my notes.
Yeah.
So, so I've got some questions about it that I like to add.
hmm
Do you think this series needs a sequel, or is there enough content that it should be given a sequel?
I mean, the
Enough.
fan in me says, "Give me part two."
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the writer and more creative side of me
Mm-hmm.
is like, we don't really need one
Yeah.
because we've got what I feel is a somewhat satisfying conclusion.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
I think
I
a, there is a little bit more they could tell, kind of clarify a lot of things,
yeah,
maybe. But as far as the relationships go, I'm not sure how they would do that in a season two.
yeah, I'm
Uh,
not sure.
but I'm going to make the fan in you very happy, Pavy, because they've
Oh,
confirmed season two.
there's a season two.
Yes, I don't know when it airs, but it was
Oh my
confirmed
God.
last year that I think it's already been filmed. Not entirely sure.
What? How
Yeah.
did I not know this?
I only
Oh my
found this
God.
out when I was looking up stuff for it, but yeah.
Oh, there's gonna be a season two.
Yes, with all the same cast. The four main leads are all back again.
Heck
So yeah.
yeah.
Oh, but what? One of the comments just said that this has been shelved,
What?
but it was announced 6 months ago or something. Um But I'm pretty sure they've either filmed it or they were filming it whenever I looked up stuff for it.
Okay.
So I'm not entirely sure. But at the minute it still says it's happening.
All right, I can wait a long time. I'm trained to waiting, sometimes years.
Mm. Do you think this story would make a good visual novel or just a BL game of any kind? Do you think it could be
I
adapted
think.
into a BL game?
Hmm, I'm not sure how you'd. I mean, if you made it into a game, you could try and flesh out the rules of the time thing a
Yeah.
little more. Um, Visual novel, I think, could be quite sweet as like a
Hmm.
physical version of what we've been shown.
Yeah.
Um, but game, I would be cool. Don't get me
Hmm.
wrong. I love games. Um, but I'm just with how little in terms of world building in that aspect that we have, I'm not
Hmm.
sure how well it would translate.
Yeah, I've written maybe.
Yeah,
It has potential there, but it
it
would need a
definitely has
lot more fleshing
potential.
out. So it would. I think that would be the thing.
Yeah,
Need more in depth, which they could
definitely.
they could work on. So it could work.
Hmm,
But I just put maybe.
maybe.
And then what was missing from this BL, in your opinion?
Information.
Yeah, that's what I got. I said as well.
That
Bit of
was literally
information.
it. Like the characters were brilliant, loved it. But what is what are the rules?
Yeah.
Because even when I
Uh,
was watching this when it first came out, like I did not understand what the rules were. I still enjoyed watching it, obviously,
mhm.
but it's never clarified, and that bugs
Yeah.
me.
So yeah, I wrote what are the rules? It needs some
Yeah.
clarification.
What are the rules?
I would like more in-depth characters.
Mm.
Milk, I think's done well, but the other three I did think needed a bit more fleshing out,
I think out
bit more
of all of
story.
them, obviously Uncle aside,
Hmm.
um, out of our sort of main three, heavy
Yeah.
quotation marks there, Jungwoo needed
Yeah, which
so
is
much
surprising
more
since he's meant to be
depth.
the main lead kind of
Yeah,
thing.
he's meant to be like the main guy, and he just
The
fell
story revolves
really
around,
flat.
yeah. And also, why wasn't it a thruple?
Yeah, why wasn't it a throuple?
I
There was
needed
so
that.
much
I put that in
potential.
there. I couldn't let it go. I just had to put that right at the end. All way I was watching this, I just couldn't get out of my head. I wanted it so bad. So, would you like to give us your final thoughts and your score that you've given this
Oh
series?
yes. So obviously you sent me the categories like beforehand of
Mm-hmm.
cast, soundtrack, and rewatchability. So I just put like little notes of what I thought beside
Yeah.
them, and then put in like an overall kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So cast I gave a 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Because Milk was played phenomenally well. Best character. I don't think we've emphasized that enough. I know we've talked about it a lot, but brilliant.
Our
He
totally
embodied the
biased opinion.
mannerisms of a cat insanely well, I think. Like little
Yeah.
glances here and there, the tone of his voice, all of it. Lee Jai-bin was also amazing, really selling the idea that he was a dog turned human. And again, the only character that really fell
Mm-hmm.
entirely flat for me was like Jungwoo. But kind of towards the end of the series, I did like him a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
that may have just been because he was like involved with Choco, if I'm entirely honest.
Yeah.
Um, Uncle's presence confused me at first, but the way he interacted with Milk and how his character sort of was involved at the end, I was
Yeah.
very happy with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then theme, I gave a 7 out of 10. Brilliant theme, like starting theme, very light and bubbly, like how you would expect with such a unique or zany concept such as
Yeah.
this. But I think throughout the more harder hitting scenes, they can really pull out the stops with it. Um, as I've already said, it did make me cry more than once, and I do think that was like at least in part the music.
Yeah.
It sounds brilliantly when listened to within the show, but I probably wouldn't listen to most of it outside of the context, save
Mm-hmm.
for maybe a couple of tracks that are seen in the credits towards the end of the series, just because it's mostly instrumental.
Mm-hmm.
And rewatchability, I gave a 7 out of 10. I can only rewatch this once every few months because it gets really sad, but I still love it. It's obviously about 2 hours, just over, but does pack a punch with
Uh-huh.
some of its storytelling and focus on certain relationships.
Yeah.
So overall, I might be a bit biased because this was kind of my first proper BL,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm used to sort of much more Western media, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to get me to watch new series is like arguing with a brick wall. I'm giving it a solid 8 out of 10. There are obviously some things like we've spoken about that I would improve, like establishing who Uncle is a tiny bit
Mm-hmm.
more and just giving us some more info around him. telling us what the rules are
Yeah.
because what is going on with that? Um, but overall, I felt it was a really fun watch, a unique concept, and really well pulled off by both the cast and the crew.
Hmm. Very nice.
Yeah.
So, my final thoughts on it. I gave the overall story of the series a 6 out of 10.
Hmm.
It lost points obviously because of the information that was missing that confused me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost a lot of the points for story, and um, it was well told, but just the information pulled it down, and it was
Yeah.
unique. Sometimes I found it a little bit strange that he was falling in love with his dog, but
You just need to
but
suspend your disbelief a little bit.
yeah, but I did enjoy it. The
Yeah.
cast I gave a 7 out of 10 for not enough information about Uncle, him just being that kind of added on side character, and Jungwoo falling a bit flat, like we've said.
Yeah.
But the other two, Milk and Choco, I really enjoyed, especially Milk. I love him so much. uh,
Yes.
and the actors, all of the actors were great. Even if the characters were falling flat, that's not the actors' fault. They
No.
weren't given enough material, honestly, I think, in some of their instances to bring that character to life.
Yeah,
Because I
I
think it
agree with
was
that.
acted well. It's
It was
just there
acted
wasn't
well. It's
enough
just
depth for them.
the writing, I think, with such
Yeah.
a small series was
Hmm.
constrained a little bit.
They didn't get the information either that
No,
they needed.
no one got the information.
The OST, I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Hmm.
It has. I like the fact that the cast sing a couple of songs. I think that's
Yeah.
what I gave most of the points for. I looked up on Spotify, and
Yeah, I
they're a
think there's
little
only
bit
4 songs in
lackluster.
there.
Yeah, they're a little bit lackluster
Yeah.
overall. They're quite short songs, and there's not a lot to them, I don't think. So I give it a 5 because it's
Hmm.
not bad to listen to, but it's just
Yeah.
when you have some really heavy hitter OSTs out there, like Love Tractor and Semantic Error, it's hard to
Yeah.
stack up against those. And I gave the rewatchability a 4 out of 10 because I don't think I'll watch it again, but I probably will for Milk. So
If you
that's
do
where
it for
all
any
four
reason,
points
just do
come
it for
from.
him.
Yeah, that's where all 4 points came from, just because
I'm not
Milk.
gonna lie, I think that's where like at least 85% of my rewatch points came from.
It's MILK 1 2 3 4.
Genius.
But overall, I gave it a 6 out of 10 stars, which is more than I gave Jin and Jin in the last episode. I only give it a 5. So for a YouTube series that's probably a smaller company,
Yeah.
they did a good job for what they were working with, and I think it's quite a popular series. I think for people who know about it anyway.
Yeah, I
So I
think
think
so.
it's good, good start for what they could what they could work on, and
Yeah.
a good start for obviously season 2 that they're making now, and the other one that Milk is starring in. I forgot the name already. Happy Ending.
Happy ending.
Yes. It sets up a good standard for those two,
Yeah.
which I'm excited for. But yeah, that is our review of Choco Milkshake. There is only one thing left to do, and that is to spin the wheel of BL to find out my next topic for episode 3, which is exciting because this is the first time I'm spinning it on the podcast. So this might be very long. I'm going to turn this down. It plays banjo music when I spin it. But I don't know how loud it's going to be.
The
Here we
banjo
go.
music.
Yeah. That's not too bad. It's a little bit loud. He's spinning and spinning. What's it going to happen? episode 3, I will be reviewing Our Dating Sim,
Ooh.
which is it's 8 episodes? I think it's 8 episode series about two childhood friends who meet again working at the same company, and it's about their love story, which is
That sounds very cute.
a trope that I quite enjoy, is that childhood friend to lovers trope. It's one of my favorite, actually, I think.
It's
Along
a
with
very cute concept.
enemies to lovers, that's a good one. I like that.
Classic, absolute classic.
Yep. But thank you, Pavy, for joining me for this episode of Semantic Love.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an absolute pleasure.
You've been a wonderful guest. I've very much enjoyed it. Hopefully this won't be the last time we see you. Or hear from you, I guess, because we're listening. But that is all for us. Thank you, everyone, for joining episode 2 of Semantic Love. We will be back again in 2 weeks for my review of Our Dating Sim. So thank you. Bye, everybody. Bye, bye, bye.